Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. Don't mind the background. I have no green screen, but it's not about me. It's about you and CPI, inflation. There's all these interesting stories coming out about inflation. We're going to share this story right now. We're going to talk about it because I think there's some crazy stuff going on in the markets and people just don't get it. The market was up, right? Everything was looking great. It says right here, U.S. inflation turning the corner as consumer prices rise below expectations. Now, I want to make this very clear. It isn't what you think, all right? You can't be just a headline reader. Check this out. Consumer price index increases 0.4% in October. CPI rises 7.7% year over year, smallest gain since January. Core CPI gains 0.3%, up 6.3% year on the year. Weekly jobless claims increase 7,000 to 225,000. All right. So right on the surface level, you'd think, hey, this is great. Good news, right? And that's why the stock market was rallied. Let's dive right in a little bit lower. U.S. consumer prices rose less than expected in October, pushing the annual increase below 8% for the first time in 8 months. The strongest signs yet that inflation was slowing, which would allow the Federal Reserve to scale back its hefty interest rate hikes. And remember, everyone, that is what everybody wants. They want the Federal Reserve to slow down the interest rate hikes to stop the pain, stop the bleeding. But the Federal Reserve is going to be going full steam ahead. Trust me. And these numbers are not going to convince them otherwise. It said, but the fight against inflation is far from won, with other data from the Labor Department on Thursday showing a moderate increase in the number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits last week, pointing to a still tight jobs market. Nevertheless, the rare good news on inflation sparked a rally on Wall Street and sent U.S. Treasury yields tumbling. The dollar slumped against a basket of currencies. Now, I want to explain something. Again, this seems very good. Everything's great, but a lot of trades are algorithm-based trades, okay? So this knee-jerk reaction should not be the case. It says inflation is still too high, but there is evidence that the Fed has turned the corner on its fight, that the pace of future interest rate increases will begin to slow, said Christopher Rumpke, chief economist at Forward Bonds in New York. Again, a chief economist, right, that thinks that we're around the corner. So here's where it's very important. The consumer price index rose 0.4% last month after climbing by the same margin in September. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast the CPI would advance 0.6%. Okay, so they're wrong. It was a little bit better, so that's great. Soaring rents accounted for more than half of the increase in CPI. Okay, again, we've already said, okay, they're saying right now, soaring rents. That's actually not the case. Rents are actually falling, okay? And it says gasoline prices rebounded after 3 straight monthly decreases. These numbers actually have energy and food out of them, all right? It says while food prices increased 0.6%, the pace was much slower relative to prior months. The price of food consumed at home rose 0.4%, the smallest gain since December of 2021. And I want you to understand that is a very easy number to figure out right there, is because the reason why it's the smallest gain is because the economy has, since 2021 December, been people have been getting back to going out to eat, right? Taking off masks, things like that. Now, it says there were increases in prices of meat, poultry, fish, cereals, and bakery products, but fruits and vegetables cost less. I believe the reason why is because there are less people buying fruits and vegetables because those two products have been going up exponentially, all right? So what you're seeing is demand destruction. As demand wanes on those, they need to lower the price of those products, okay? Now, it says in the 12 months through October, the CPI increased 7.7% after rising 8.2% on the same basis in September, but it was the first time since February that the annual increase in the CPI was below 8%, the smallest gain since January. I want people to understand, since the CPI peaked in June at 9.1%, and like it says, which was the biggest advance since November of 1981, annual inflation has been slowing as last year's big increases drop out of the calculation. I want people to understand that we are not out of this yet. The Federal Reserve has continually said that they're going to keep raising prices. And the problem with this is government entities, bodies, whoever you want to say, professionals, are pulling more and more of what really counts out of these projections, like energy and food. And even though certain food products, like it was saying, fruits and vegetables are going down a little bit in price, it's because people are going to prepackaged stuff and going to whatever is on sale. And fresh produce, at least in my grocery store, has been going up and up. So we're starting to see demand destruction because demand's waning on certain products because of the price. And so those prices are coming down. The one thing that is not changing right now is high interest rates, which calculates a higher mortgage rates and higher lending costs through credit cards, personal loans, things like that. And people are feeling the pinch. A lot of people are being affected by variable interest rates, like on credit cards and things like that. And they are getting hit in the pocketbook. So they are spending less. We are definitely not out of the woods yet. I want to encourage people to continue to save, set money aside, pay off debt. Do not get into any other debt, because as we start to see this cascading crash take full effect and people start to exit the doors stage right on the stock market, you're going to see some amazing deals. All right, guys, that being said, please put down in the comment section what you're seeing at your local grocery store. Do you think that inflation has stopped, or do you think that we are just beginning? We are in the first or second inning of this baseball game. All right, with that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.